Media, he said, I was right all along. Hashtag infect.
So something that does give this matchup a little bit of play. Keep in mind that vines can also be used to fizzle pump spells,
Yes.
not just pump your own creature.
Infect Mirror is a little bit strange. You see a Taxian Probe here. I suppose life totals won't matter very much, so
Nope.
Might as well go down to 18. Blighted Agent, Glistener Elf, Groundswell, Dismember, Groundswell. Couple of lands there.
Beautiful hand here for Tyler. Multiple sources of damage here, including one that can't be blocked. Removal spell, 2 very efficient pump spells. Solid hand.
I think you're keeping it every time. Anderson has his copy of Spellskite. Hello.
Yeah, he's only got, I believe, 1 in the main. No, he's on 2
He's
as
on
well.
2 as well.
He's on 2 as well. And Tyler, 1 Dismember, which we saw was in his hand. And outside of that, also no answers.
Glistener Elf here. Likely to search up a breeding pool. So a good start here for Hill and a good opening hand as well.
Be interesting to see how Todd wants to play this. Usually you use Spellskite to bleed out the removal spell to clear the way for your infect creature. Game 1, at least, with Tyler only having the Dismember, might be the other way around.
I think it is going to be the
We
other way
might
around.
see Todd here lead off with Blighted Agent, push Tyler to use Dismember on that, and that opens up Spellskite to potentially take over the game.
Wooded Foothills the draw. Inkmoth Nexus, right in a Blighted Agent. Premier threat in the matchup, but that's the bait. Hill with his Glistener Elf. We know his hand. It's a pretty good one. Dismember over there. Blighted Agent 2. A couple pump spells and Groundswells. He also has an Inkmoth Nexus. And you'd keep every single time when playing Infect. There's the Inkmoth Nexus for Tyler. Now we'll see what comes next. There's the Dismember. Todd gonna let that go.
Got to be happy. This is how you draw it up right here.
Yep.
Now the coast is probably clear for Spellskite to dominate this game.
And a lot of life to work with, of course. Tyler may be considering casting a Groundswell this turn. Little attack, and there's the Groundswell. So, 5 Infect here for Anderson. Todd will draw another copy of Taxian Probe. Get a look at the grip yet again. See what's different. Pendelhaven, Might of Old Croja over there too, so could have been an easy game for Tyler.
Yes. Though, Pendelhaven is a very good card for Tyler to have here in concert with Spellskite.
Yep.
Excuse me, in concert with Blighted Agent, as that's a way to work around Spellskite.
Dismember the draw there for Anderson. Wooded Foothills. Anderson will sacrifice that. Basic Force is the weapon of choice. The Spellskite, as we know, very, very, very important.
But there is still some pressure on Todd to win the game as quickly as he can, because Blighted Agent alongside Pendelhaven is problematic. Now Todd has
pain.
Now Todd does have his copy of Dismember, but there's no guarantee that resolves.
Yep. Todd gonna block real quick. Yeah, says okay. There's the Blighted Agent. Might see Dismember here.
Yep, allows Todd to play on curve here.
Let's take 4 to cast it down to 11. Time to draw. And what I think we might find here is something like one of Todd's Inkmoth Nexuses is expendable. with how Infect works and blocking. The counters are still going to stay there.
Well, Todd, I believe, is on Become Immense and another Pump Spell. Does not have enough mana to do everything this turn. But could be setting up a kill for next turn. And no real risk of him dying on the way back with Spellskite in play.
Yep, got the protection. Coming in. Okay, that's become immense here. So he's able to get the win next turn.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just see Spellskite block this turn, or he can just take it.
Yeah, it's very. I mean,
He just can't die, right?
Well, with Tyler having cast his one Dismember, I think that's his only out game one to Spellskite.
So I guess what would happen is Spellskite just comes in, or Glistener Elf comes in, and you just say, all right, I'll take it, because your pump spells don't do anything.
Yep.
Though Tyler does have 2 copies of Inkmoth Nexus. So here's an attack.
Now, Todd may want to block here because if Tyler uses the Pendelhaven, he no longer has the required mana to activate both the Nexuses he needs to block with. Todd sniffed that out, which is why you saw Tyler not pump there, because Tyler needs all of his mana back to be able to block the 2 copies of Inkmoth Nexus.
Sure. Here's Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn back. Strange little game here.
Yeah, now, the way the game is shaping up here, Todd is forcing Tyler to leave 4 mana back to stay alive. So until Tyler draws a 5th land, he can't really do much of anything. So Todd just has to wait for another Infect creature, some way to kill a Nexus.
Might see Glistener Elf now.
I think we're going to see Dryad Arbor.
Excuse me, Dryad Arbor, my apologies.
And this is just so great because if Tyler, again, does not have a land to play.
Which he does.
He does, okay. So Tyler is also aware of the stakes at this point. He needs to leave 4 mana up to be able to block. If you're asking why doesn't Todd fire up 1 Nexus and get an Exalted trigger, because that's not how Infect damage works.
Yeah.
The counter will still go on, and then he can't animate it going forward.
Another Nexus to draw.
Now, it's a good starting point here. I still don't think Todd necessarily wants to let him off the hook in terms of him having to leave up all of his mana.
Coming across. If he doesn't block both, it's lights out because of the vines. So Tyler is going to activate. I think we'll see Inkmoths running Inkmoths here.
Yes. And then Tyler basically has to draw an Inkmoth to be able to block next turn.
Got it.
I thought there was some possibility that Todd would just say go because Tyler's hand is jammed up as long as these Nexuses are available. But I suppose Todd needs way more mana to be able to activate all the Nexuses and be able to vines. So he might as well just clear out this turn.
Here comes Glistener. Again, unless I'm mistaken, he can take this and nothing bad happens, I think. So there's your pump.
This is safe.
Yeah, because if any groundswell, vines, whatever, you just redirect.
Yeah, as long as Todd has enough life to pay for the Spellskite activations, he's fine.
Yep. And Todd going to quickly untap now because he got Vines with Vastwood in hand. Fire this up, kick the Vines, and take a 1-game lead here in this Infect Mirror match. Todd Anderson up a game here over Tyler Hill. The Mirror match, at least for right now, goes to Todd Anderson, but we'll take a look at each player's sideboard and get an idea of what they are working with here.
And for our matchup, we predicted to be very fast. That one was slow and a little awkward and had a lot of play to it.
A little choppy.
Yeah, people got to block.
2 Relic Progenitors, a Spellskite, a Viridian Corruptor, 2 Wall of Roots, a Wild Defiance, a Dismember, a Hurkyl's Recall, 3 Nature's Claims, 2 Twisted Images, and a Spell Pierce here for Tyler.
Twisted Image and Nature's Claim, you need to be able to fight over Spellskite, Nexus, helps there as well. And then you're going to have the Dismember come in, the additional copy of Spellskite, and perhaps the Viridian Corruptor as well, because Spellskite is so important to answer.
Other side of things here for Todd Anderson, he's got a Grafdigger's Cage and Needle, 2 Relics, a Necropede, a Spellskite, Viridian Corruptor, Leyline is Sanctity, 2 Dispels. He's got Nature's Claims and Twisted Images too.
I really like the same 5 cards, the 3 Nature's Claim, the 2 Twisted Image. I think the Necropede will come in, the additional copy of Spellskite, and I think the 2 Dispels here. I'm not a huge fan of Spell Pierce because these decks play so mana efficiently. Tyler still may want it, especially on the play, but Dispel, that always works. That card's excellent here.
Well, these players will shuffle up here for game number 2 of the Infect Mirror. We know that Infect is going to win this Modern Open. We'll just see which player it's going to be. However, a couple weeks down the road, we will have the Battle for Zendikar pre-release. Looking forward to this because this set looks absolutely fantastic. Spoilers start coming out tomorrow, by the way, so definitely check out Wizards of the Coast website. Getting excited for that time of the year. New base set. Pre-release is going to have an awesome playmat at the Star City Game Center, September 26th and the 27th.
Yep, you see it right here, the Battle for Zendikar.
Nice. I knew you had it in you.
Anyhow, this is available if you play in the pre-release at the Star City Game Center in Roanoke, Virginia. That is on September 26th and 27th. You can pre-register today at starcitygames.com/pre-release. For those of you who want the playmat but can't get to Roanoke, Virginia, the leftover copies of this playmat will be on the website starting Monday, but they are always in limited supply. So either head out to Roanoke, play in the pre-release at the Star City Game Center, or go to the website first thing Monday morning and try to get a copy.
I just want you to know I never doubted you for a second. I knew you could say it.
Yep.
Attaboy. Battle for Zendikar. That's the playmat. That's Lorthos. I swear it is.
Because that's just a lengthy, Battle for Zendikar is
What?
a mouthful. That's why there was a little bit of a pause.
That's not too bad. We've had tougher ones.
Like if we had a Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale pun,
Well, that would be tough.
that would be tough to get out. Same deal.
I'm not really a pun master,
No.
so I'm trying to think of one for Tabernacle. I got nothing. I got nothing in me for that. I'm sure someone on Twitter does, though.
Yeah.
So they'll let us know. They'll fire away.
I mean, pun master is essentially an oxymoron.
Why do you say that?
Because even the good puns are bad.
Don't tell Luis
And the bad, I know. Luis, I love you, but
Yeah. Come on, man.
it's just not my sense of humor.
You're hurting feelings
Brian
right now.
Brondowin, same deal.
Yeah. A lot of people taking up the pun block,
I know.
fighting for the territory.
I know.
It's getting ugly out there. Todd Anderson, of course, the player with the most Open Series top 8s. Resides in Roanoke, Virginia, producing content for Star City Games. 29 years old, 3 invitational top 8s with a win during season 3 of 2012. 22 Open Series top 8s with 5 Ws and 4 GPs top 8s. We're going to have to revise the graphic.
Yeah, that's getting an update now.
Yeah, make it 23 here for Todd. Big time. We got to change the info, too, because there's got to be something about Alabama in here after last night.
Yes.
Big W.
Gotta get that updated.
Big W for the Crimson Tide. Married to Callie Anderson as well, the first woman to win an Open Series as well. She's a big Crimson Tide fan as well. Though, it is a little bit surprising to see Todd playing Infect this weekend. Hopefully, we get the opportunity to talk to him about that because I'm so used to him playing Team or Twin, and he's finally put that deck down after so much success with it.
Well, Infect's been putting up very good performances lately. I would say definitely better than Splinter Twin has. And there's only so long that you can hang out with Tom Ross before you're sort of drawn into his world.
You just get stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it does make some sense. He'll get you to play the deck.
Exactly.
Infect, pretty good deck, though. I mean, definitely is this weekend.
Well, here we are.
With how much? With how much affinity we saw in our metagame breakdown, 27 in a day 2. That's so many.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's partially a response to Merfolk. Merfolk's been very, very good lately, and Affinity is one of the more naturally well-positioned decks against that deck.
I know a lot of people look at Modern as kind of a slow-moving format, kind of deck-wise, but I don't really think that's the case. I think people are really starting to metagame in that format.
It is, but it's certainly not to the same extent that Legacy is, because the decks are not so prohibitively expensive that if you wanted to mix it up, it's impossible to do so, You think lands is a really good choice for a tournament coming up? Well, you're probably still not playing lands.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah.
They don't have that kind of card availability. But Modern, not too horrible to mix it up. I know people, a lot of players who just kind of show up to the tournaments, they have 2 or 3 copies of decks, and they mix it up depending on what they think is powerful at a given time. And that's not true in Legacy to the same extent. The decks are just too expensive for that kind of fluidity.
I'm curious to see what the response will be to this deck, given its performance. And 2 copies in the finals is pretty notable.
I think we're just going to see more random Malira showing up in green sideboards. I think that's going to be the big adjustment.
We need to get some gut shots.
More gut shots.
Yes.
Snapcaster gut shot.
Good luck.
Dust off standard from a little bit ago.
Good luck. Your deck already has Gataxian Probe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Inkmoth Nexus to start here for Tyler. Anderson will play a Wooded Foothills. He'll pass the turn back. Hill with a Spellskite. Doesn't appear as though Anderson doesn't answer that card just yet.
A lot of copies of Nature's Claim, Twisted Image. And Spellskite might be good enough that even something as extreme as Viridian Corruptor has come in. We'll see, but I don't know if Todd's equipped with an answer just yet.
Another Infect threat, hard to maybe leave the Corruptor on the side. Anderson does have a copy of Dispel, also has Blighted Agent in hand. Groundswell the draw. What's noticeable here about Tyler Hill's start? 2 copies of Inkmoth Nexus to start.
Yeah, a little odd.
Don't know if he's got colored mana. There's a Spellskite for Todd. Well, he does have colored mana now. So, pardon me.
Don't know if he already had it, but he definitely top decked that Wooded Foothills.
That came right onto the
Made
battlefield.
no effort to conceal it.
Nope. There's a Blighted Agent. Looking to get the unblockable poison beats on.
And this is the first time we've seen Todd with a hand that just looks vulnerable to Spellskite.
Yeah.
It's Pump Spells, it's Apostle's Blessings. No Infect Creature.
To Anderson will go. Noble Hierarch the draw. Hill off to a pretty nice start. There's a Blighted Agent there for Anderson. Playing Misty Rainforest, pass the turn back. Dispel at the ready. Apostle's Blessing, 2.
And now with dueling Spellskites, it just slows the game down because no matter what happens, the Pump Spell is not going to an Infect Creature.
We might not be going anywhere for a while.
We still got 1 a turn coming across on both sides of the table no one's interacting with, but
That's true.
2 a turn.
Speed it up. 2 Infect here for Anderson. Anderson will draw. Picked up another copy of Blighted Agent. There's Noble Hierarch. 2 Infect over there. The race is on.
All right, Legacy IQ players, I have some great news for you. I have your top 8.
Anything else here for Anderson?
Starting with first place with 18 points, we have Logan Mize.
He'll play a little breeding pool and then pass the turn back.
Tyler Wynn.
And to me, this is just who can break a Spellskite first. I think Todd's got a slight edge here because he's also armed with Dispel.
Also 18 points is Andrew.
Twisted Image is going to try, but Dispel
Now, we do not have a clean
is going to allow Anderson to fight over that. So, Twisted Image is countered. Okay.
17 points is
Another
Wild
Twisted
Aaron
Image.
Higgins. 17 points is Austin Casey. And
Anderson going to sacrifice that Misty Rainforest pretty quickly. Go get himself a basic forest. I think we might have Apostle's Blessing here.
2% Luke Bishop.
We do.
I called your name, you've not given us your deck. Please make your way up here so we can get that to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys.
Well, here's an attack with an Exalted trigger. Anderson got to go up to 4 Infect
So we're just on 2 a turn on both sides.
until they find an answer.
Yeah, again, this is just a race to see who can break the Spellskite first.
Yeah. Anderson had good protection around it. The question, I suppose, is does Tyler Hill? Noble Hierarch. Oh. Speed it up. Tyler Hill up to 5 Infect now.
I got pared down to an X1. There's no X1.
Backup Blighted Agent past the turn back. If you're Tyler, I think you need another. If you get another Hierarch, you win the race.
Well, he can also just go attack you for 3, attack you for 3.
Sure,
He can fire off both
fire
the
the
Nexuses.
yeah.
He's got Todd at exact over 2 turns. He folds to pretty much any piece of resistance if he takes that line.
Yep.
But on the table, it's good to go.
Yep. Wonder if he sees that one.
Thing is, if you're on, Todd probably would have played a Nexus by now. And if you had a way to kill your spell scout, you would have seen that by now.
Yep. Let's see what this is. It'd be a Nature's Claim. Another answer to Spell Scout.
Legacy Premier IQ top 32. If you place from 9th through 32nd place, in which to claim your prize.
It's going to resolve.
I'm going to need you to line up at the very right-hand side of the
Todd gets 4 life, but that doesn't matter all that much.
Please have your ID in
Now, that's a Rancor.
your prize. Please keep note that if you have
There's an attack.
tax information, we will not be able to give you a cash prize.
4 total.
Bruce and the other,
So Anderson up to 8 infect.
there are several of you that have not. So if you think you have it,
Take a draw. Pendlehaven.
Patrick will be able to help you guys out.
I think that if Todd had drawn away to kill the spell sky, he might have had a shot. But now I think he's basically dead.
Yep.
Just does the test to see if Tyler's paying any attention,
Gotta
which
check
he was.
gotta check with the groundswell. Tyler Hill redirected over to Spell Sky. We get ready here for game number 3 of the Infect Mirror between Todd Anderson and Tyler Hill. Hill able to tie it up.
Yeah, Tyler found a lot of ways to remove a spell sky. He needed a 3rd one there as Todd had Dispel and Apostle's Blessing. But once one player has an unchecked spell sky, it's going to be very hard for the other player to play back.
Yeah, it really, really is. Bit of a, I mean, that game's weird. The Infect Mirror is just weird, man. You just have these staring contests with spell skites on the other side of the table, and then you're battling over spell skite, and then the pump spells are bad.
The spell sky just looms over the whole game.
Yeah.
Because when one person has it, the other person can just attack and use Pendlehaven. They don't really have that much else they can do.
Yep.
So when both players have spell sky, it becomes a very messy game of attacking for 2 here and 2 there. But once Tyler was able to find a 3rd way to remove Todd's spell sky, then the game becomes very easy.
Well, this is the finals here of our first standalone open of season 4. Of course, we are in Cincinnati this weekend. Next weekend, back to standard action. Feels like it's been a little while since we've watched some standard. That'll take place in Worcester.
Yeah, after that, Milwaukee, then a week off for the Battle of Zendikar pre-release. Then we go to Indianapolis for the first standard open with that set beginning of October. After that, Atlanta, a Legacy Open in St. Louis, Modern in Dallas, Standard in Philadelphia. After that, Grand Prix Atlanta, which will be sealed. A little bit more information about that event will be coming down the pipeline soon. Then a Standard Open in Kansas City, Legacy in New Jersey, a Standard Open Series in Denver. After that, the Season 4 Invitational in Las Vegas, Nevada. Standard and Modern as the Invitational formats with a 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series event, December 11th through the 13th. And then a week after that, Players Championship, Roanoke, Virginia at the Star City Games headquarters, December 19th and 20th. To round out the year.
And you guys know the drill. Any main event that you do sign up for, you'll get the Hop-In Rabbit Master playmat. Carrots and bombs and rabbits giving beat downs. Simple to get. You enter our main event, you get it for free. Available to all Open Series competitors until December 5th.
Yep, just get it at the door when you register for any of our 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series events, all the way through the Open in Denver at the beginning of December.
We try to make it easy.
It's as easy as it gets. Just gotta sign up.
Yeah, just wait until next year you see the parody playmats we have. They're gonna be sweet for the Open Series.
Have not seen them yet. Still a mystery.
Never gonna show you.
Just get to see it for the first time.
Never gonna show you until we show you.
Yep.
That's how it works. We want that genuine, honest reaction.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people really necessarily know or believe that,
Yep.
but the first time the otter came on the screen during the show, that's the first time I saw it. Didn't know what animal it was, didn't know what it looked like. It's off the cuff.
Yeah.
Playmat in the battle for Zendikar. First time for that one too.
Yeah. Didn't even know there was a hippo.
Didn't know there was a hippo.
When we released it, you were off that weekend.
The token that I've been agitating for the better part of 2 years. Didn't know.
Had no idea. We're full of surprises here at SCG Live.
For me, not for you necessarily.
I try to keep myself in the dark. But, you know, then I have to get ready for a show, and then they give me information, and then I got to know.
Right.
But we want that genuine response. And now, as a result, we have Otter von Bismarck.
Right.
You see what good things come from this.
Yes.
It's all positive until it's not anymore.
Creativity rarely occurs over indefinite timelines. You need to have some sort of pressure on you, some inspiration to think of things.
Is that like part of your campaign? That's the most presidential thing you've ever said.
That's not true.
Easily. I don't even remember what you said. Just something about creativity in a very eloquent manner.
That's not going to play well in Peoria, you know?
Oh, okay.
A little too Northeast defeat liberal sort of thing. But whatever, we'll work on that. We still are several years out of this. So
You need a campaign manager.
I do.
I might be your guy. What do you, I don't really know what a campaign manager does, but it feels like a title that I could hold.
You disseminate misinformation about the opposition and update my Twitter page. That's my understanding of the job.
How much does that pay?
We can talk about that
Beautiful.
off the air. Yeah.
You need a Twitter specialist and a liar? I got you.
Yeah.
That is my wheelhouse.
Yep.
Peace Sully 2020.
It's happening.
Right now, the opposition is Kanye West. Seems pretty easy to me. But one man's opinion.
Right. I mean, it's a long ways out.
I-
You never know which way the winds blow.
That's another part of the campaign right there. Todd Anderson, Tyler Hill, game number 3 about to be underway of the Infect Mirror. Last time we had modern action in Charlotte a few weeks ago, we watched Joe Herrera win with Jund, beat Hunter Nance in the finals, who was playing Merfolk. This is much different than that.
Yep.
That's for sure.
I think Todd's ready to get a move on here. Tyler being very ponderous here. This sideboarding.
That's the serious face right there. Seen that one before from Todd. He's ready to give the beatdowns. No more messing around. Remember, Anderson, most Open Series top 8s of all time. Tyler Hill, this is his first Open Series event, period.
The absolute opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Anderson will be on the play here for game 3. Looks like he's going to keep, and Hill will not.
And I wonder how aggressive you have to be mulliganing for either Spellskite or a way to answer Spellskite. Can you keep your normal hands of creatures, lands, and pump spells?
I would.
It seems like
I would be surprised if you could. Then you're just dead to Spellskite, right?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm getting a sense for this as we go. But it feels like your, what your keepable hands are in the mirror match shrinks in the post-board games because Spellskite's so important.
Well, we know that Anderson's looking to get to the Players' Championship here, and if he's able to get the W, 25 Open Series points will certainly help. Season 1, of course, of the Open Series, we had Jacob Wilson win that tournament. Great final, beat Reed Duke in the finals, and of course, Jim Davis, he was our points leader.
Yeah, had the lead the whole way through. Had some good performances, most notably in Dallas, and locked up Season 1 pretty comfortably.
For Season 2, look at that Ali Antrazi face.
Pretty happy.
Green, red, Tron, Angel, Token. He beat Chris Van Meter in the finals, and then Kevin Jones, well, he had it locked up pretty early.
Yeah,
Kevin, an IQ grinder.
A lot of IQ work, very good performance in the Opens, a lot of day 2s, a lot of top 16s, and was able, again, from end to end, had Season 2 locked up.
And of course, season number 3, Alex Bostecki with a great comeback, and Danny Jessup crawled across the finish line. A little bit of sickness there. So we'll see who's going to get the job done here in season number 4, as Anderson is going to kick things off here with a Breeding Pool and a Glistener Elf. Looks like a Gataxian probe here from Tyler Hill to start things off for him. Both these players a little bit lower in life total. Anderson, he's got Nature's Claim, he's got a Spellskite, Serum Visions, another Glistener Elf, and a Pendelhaven.
Great looking hand, a little on the slow side, but it has a Spellskite and it can beat a Spellskite.
Yep. I think it's a hand you probably got to keep. He'll draw a card. There is a Verdant Catacombs. Let's see what land he wants to search up for his Noble Hierarch. Probably a breeding pool, because once again, life totals don't matter much here.
Basically free.
Yep.
You can see Todd just itching to get to his turn.
We know Todd, he's a speedster. Time for him to draw. Twisted Image, another answer to Spellskite.
Also an answer to that Hierarch.
Very true. Yep, gonna fire away. Inkmoth Nexus, Pendle, Haven, another Glistener Elf come across here for 1. Great start here for Anderson.
With Spellskite, Nature's Claim back up, Serum Visions, you might not even have to cast this game.
Yep.
So far, so good.
Pretty good spot to be. Dryad Arbor's line number 2. Here's a Glistener Elf. Anderson gonna quickly untap, take a draw. Another copy of Spellskite.
His hands come together really nicely.
Yeah, to say the least. See Joe Lissette looking on in the back. He's looking to qualify for the Players' Championship too. He's maybe hoping Todd stumbles and fumbles a bit here.
Not looking good for Joe. Gotta say.
There's a block. Pendle Haven will pump the Glistener Elf that comes through. Todd will lose his Glistener Elf. We'll see what the follow-up is. There's Inkmoth Nexus, Spellskite for protection, pass the turn back.
Once again, Magic players, just a reminder that if you have not yet claimed your Hop and Grab a Magic playmat, those coupons good for those for redeeming for 1.
To Hill we go. Dryad Arbor can tap for mana now. He's got a copy of Sylvan Scrying in hand. Just a little slow for this game. The last game, that kind of card might have been okay, but this one, I don't think so.
A little is generous.
I'm generous late on a Sunday.
Yep.
There is Sylvan Scrying. Get a copy of Inkmoth Nexus.
Could potentially be Tyler's last play of the tournament.
Yeah, Todd could dial up and become immense here.
My bad.
Well, Dismember's going to take care of Spellskite. So it could still be his last turn.
Yeah. He still got to play the Dismember. I spoke too soon.
Todd will untap. Time for him to take a draw. You do wonder if he left a card like Become Immense and after sideboard, because you probably have to chop down on some of your pump spells.
A little bit. I mean, you have to. The room has to come from somewhere. It can't be infect creatures, and you need a lot of sideboard cards for Spellskite. So he's probably a little less pump-centric. Now the decision is he can basically Serum Visions and go for the kill with the right card, or he can attack, pump, and play Blighted Agent.
I kind of like the single attack.
He can also Serum Visions and play Spellskite. So a couple different routes
There's
here.
a lot of different routes you can go, yeah. He can do this, just pass the turn back with Pendle Haven and Nature's Claim at the ready. Kind of bluff a little bit too.
Yeah, I guess if he's working, he needs to be able to answer the Nexus. And if Spellskite's really the only thing that he's worried about from a mana efficiency standpoint, this is probably better.
You do miss out on a point of infect damage, but I don't know if it changes the clock any. So for Tyler Hill, Anderson is coming from multiple angles here, and he's got a great hand to back it up, too.
Yeah, his hand is not quite the best possible, but it's high up there.
It kind of feels like it, right?
Spellskite, an answer to Spellskite, and Serum Visions.
Windswept Heath, the draw. Anderson will sacrifice that. Time to go searching.
All right, Legacy, can't talk either people wins.
He get himself a breeding pool.
We will be playing up here by the stage, so if you are up here, so you can get that started, that'd be awesome. You guys are great.
So we'll see what's next there for Anderson. Land, not a bad thing to draw. Spellskite pre-combat, a little bit of protection. Nature's Claim and Serum Vision's in hand.
He gets all the information right now because Tyler has to respond with whatever he's got to respond with now.
The question is, what does Tyler have? He didn't do anything last turn. So it feels like he has something. You can see his hand, like there's a Vines and Apostle's Blessing over there. Inkmoth could be on chump blocking duty. Looks like no blocks.
Fairly risky in the face of a spell sky here because even if Tyler has a removal spell in hand, he can't really play back against pump spells.
It looks like no blocks at this point, though Infect hasn't changed just yet, so. Tyler's certainly weighing his options here in this crucial third game, last game of the tournament for both players. Dry Arbor's going to activate Inkmoth Nexus, so perhaps there will be a block. Pump will target the Blighted Agent. Now here's an Apostle's Blessing.
Todd here being very patient. A lot of players, I think, would have had the instinct there to fire off the Nature's Claim. He knows that a lot of things can happen. Vines can happen. Spell pierces out of the board. And he doesn't really need the Glistener Elf for the Blight Agent in play. So Todd being very, very cautious, saving that Nature's Claim either for Spellskite or a spot where Tyler's going for a lot of action.
We can't forget, Apostle's Blessing is not one you can redirect.
Yep.
Target creature you control gets protection from artifacts.
My point is that he could have just used the Nature's Claim there on the Nexus.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean by Todd being patient.
Now Spellskite's going to bite the dust. A Dismember could really change some things here.
A lot of people just can never give up the 2-for-1. You know, your opponent goes for a block, but Todd he's clearly prioritizing that Nature's Claim to handle very specific things. Spellskite, a Nexus that's attacking for lethal.
For what it's worth, I'm one of those people who can't give up the 2-for-1. Here comes Inky. Ross Merriam checking in. He's got quite a few IQs in his area right now as he's racing for the Players' Championship. 5 points today, 9 total on the weekend. Got another IQ action tomorrow on Labor Day, and then some words for Todd for making the finals I cannot say on air. So Ross letting his feelings be known.
Hey, man, you could have been here.
That's true.
I don't want to hear a word about it.
Another Blighted Agent. Anderson with Serum Visions that he's never cast. There's a breeding pool there for Hill. Will it be his last turn of the game?
Such patience here from Todd the whole way through.
Yeah.
Not trying to just cast the Serum Visions, using his mana. It's just been Pendlehavens, casting spells, leaving up Nature's Claims. Has not made a move.
Gonna fire up Inkmoth.
And it's stressful because the right mixture of cards could still beat Todd here.
There's Become Immense. If Todd moves, he could die.
Well, this is short of lethal, so
Yes,
Todd's
so-
still not doing
Yeah,
anything.
So he doesn't have to make a move.
If there's mutagenic growth involved here, then Todd's got to move. And then something like Vines, Spell Pierce.
He's gonna take a bunch, go up to 8 Infect.
But that ain't it.
No.
That's short.
8's not 10. Anderson going to quickly untap, take a draw. He's going to turn those Blight Agents sideways real fast. And that is going to do it. Todd Anderson's going to win this match and this tournament. Infect, something we have not seen him play very much of, was his weapon of choice. You have to imagine Tom Ross got to him, and it's a good thing he did. He is your Modern Open champion here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and that third game there, you know, you have the Serum Visions in your hand the whole time. You'd like to cast it at some point. And you got this Nature's Claim where there's a ton of good opportunities to use it, especially on the Apostle's Blessing exchange. Kiss there from his wife, Callie.
Indeed.
And the patience that Todd showed didn't just cast the Serum Visions because you want to cast the Serum Visions.